Actually, it's not that you're hungry, but because there is another reason in you that wanted to eat. So this is what happens after hypnotherapy as well. It doesn't matter what the problem is. You're more mindful that you could fall in the same pattern, and now you know the way to avoid it.
Welcome to the Beyond podcast. Go beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond limiting beliefs, beyond all the misconceptions of reality. Today we have Stella and Peter here, two friends from Bulgaria. One is based in Bulgaria, Stella is based in Canarian Islands in Spain, and both are into hypnotherapy, helping, guiding people to deal with their subconscious programming, to help them to heal emotional traumas. Stella is also working with breathwork and Tibetan Buddhism. I like when you read about Peter. He said he comes from a family of ice cream manufacturer, and how you learned how to deal with people, to be kind to people, and you're already in the business world since long time, and also you specialized. You have a degree, PhD, and in business communication administration, right?
Yes, true.
Yeah, and now you implement hypnotherapy to help business people also to help them dealing with their inner struggles and grow spiritually and overcome habits and patterns. So, and also I have here Reiki practitioner and long-time Buddhist, Stella. So many qualities, and I'm really interesting to know more about you, and my listeners also looking forward to hear. So what's your story? Where you're from and why you're here today?
First, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be with you today here in this podcast and with Peter, of course. I'm Bulgarian, as you know, but I've been living for over 20 years in the Canary Islands. And
Wow.
when I came here, it was a huge change, not only from climate, from economics, from cultural perspective, but also how people were facing challenges at that time. And along the first few years, I really found a large amount of books on self-development, and I got to be interested in that. And then I found, maybe just like everybody else in 2006, we all saw The Secret, the movie
Yeah.
and the
Me
book.
too, 2006.
Yeah, everybody, yeah, I guess. So it really struck me, and I wanted to try it. And I found that it worked in some areas of my life, but it didn't work in other areas of my life. And I wondered why. What am I doing wrong? And it was much later, already in 2018, 2019, when I found out that actually I couldn't advance in certain directions of my life because I had inner blocks. And I found this through hypnotherapy. This was quite fast forward, right? So this is when I found Marisa Peer as a hypnotherapist, and I did a program with her. And this is when these blocks were unleashed for me. So since then, my life has been changing. But before that, I did go through Reiki. Reiki came in my life. I'm not very sure when it was, but I think it was 2016 or something like this, first time, because one of my cats, and I love cats to bits. So she was having a problem with an eye, and we had contracted a specialist coming from another island. It was very expensive, and despite of that, it didn't work. So I wanted to try something on my own. And this is how I got acquainted with Reiki. And then I saw the same master was giving me a second type of Reiki, which was the Tibetan Reiki. And from there, my interest in Buddhism arose tremendously, to such extent that in 2017, I wanted to go to Tibet, but then I found out certain political issues there that weren't quite aligned with me. So I gave up the idea. Instead of this, I found a Tibetan master in India, and this is how I did my first trip to India.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. And Peter, what's your story?
Yeah. Yes. First, thanks for having me here in the podcast. It's a great pleasure for me and Stella to participate and to tell you more about hypnotherapy and ourselves. So, yeah, I'm 27 years old from Skool, Bulgaria, still living in my hometown. And yeah, I've grown up in a family of ice cream manufacturer. You already said that. But yeah, since 2020, still when I was studying in the university of business communication here, I realized that I have a very, very strong urge to start helping people because I felt an inner psychologist rising within me. And I was saying to myself, I really need to find my niche and to try and help people get the best out of themselves, especially after graduating from the foreign language high school with English and German, and learned some Spanish as well. Yeah, so I myself first started to read quite about different types of spirituality and personal development books, practice meditations, mindfulness, breath techniques, other techniques to see how I can implement them on myself and then start practicing and helping people. But because I didn't have any degree or any degree which would allow me to help people, not just legally, but with some kind of yes of degree,
Authority.
yes, exactly, thanks, the authority. Yes, I decided in 2020 to enroll in a Bulgarian psychotherapy course, which involves quite a lot of the symbols are read in the body language. How people have different symptoms in the psyche could be read in the body. And when I enrolled, I shared that I have quite a serious visual disability, and because of this, I was rejected from the school, and the teacher there advised me to find a niche, to find a place to study where I can actually get the most out of my capabilities and to help people accordingly. So yeah, it was good 2 years or 3 years when I was helping still my family, studying the PhD, while still not being able to help people, while I was really daydreaming about that. And in 2023, I enrolled in to work as a customer support with mobile games on German. But I had to quit the job after 5 months because of the same reason, because it was really strenuous for my eyes to stare at the screen for 8 hours a day. So I had to quit because of these health conditions. But fortunately, just the same week I ended I quit my job, my stable job. I came across YouTube advertisement about Marissa Peer's Skool, and I took a glimpse inside and just wrote my email, and they contact me on the phone right away. So I didn't hesitate and enrolled in the course. And yes, that's how it all started last year in May, and finished 6 months later. And now it's 6 months after graduation when I'm having my dream coming true to be helping people from all over the world improve their lives with their eyes closed when they're hypnotized. And that's a great that's a great view on that, because I know that I can serve them as best as I can and bring them pleasure and delight from life. So yeah, this is how it's until now.
Thank you for sharing. I could really hear and feel it comes from a place of your heart to give this
Thanks.
to people. And how you both connected, because you know each other since some time, because I wrote you separately.
Yeah.
And then you asked me, let's do the podcast together. It's also the first time I have two people on the podcast. So how did you meet? Like, why do you both do hypnotherapy, or what is your story?
Yeah, we met actually in the Marissa Peer School while we
Uh-huh.
were studying there. And I believe I was already almost completing my program and preparing for the exams. And I saw that Peter has written in our group, and I said, "Oh, Peter, Bulgarian. I should contact him definitely, because this is not very often to find, country mate in a foreign program." So this is how we connected, and we really had a click from the moment, despite of the age gap. Yeah, because I think I could be his mother at a point. Yeah. Just like Peter, by the way, I've studied tourism in Bulgaria. Then I studied for a teaching degree, a master program, and I finished it 2 years ago. But there was always something missing for me, at least. Because even when I imagined myself as a teacher and not as a tour guide, which I still am, then I said, okay, but I don't want to teach kids content only. Well, they're not kids, they are teenagers, supposedly. But it's not only content, it's much more in life than the content in the textbook. And this is what I was missing while I was growing up and was going to school and later on in the university. And that's why when I found Marissa Peer's program, I said, okay, I found it. Now I can study it, and I can apply all the knowledge that I have from previous experiences and give the best, not only to the students, but to everybody else. I don't work as a teacher. I never did. I actually got a degree and continued with my tour guiding job. But yes, and this is what people find very strange, right? That I've got a teaching degree. I don't work as a teacher, but that's it. Yeah. And now I'm a hypnotherapist. I'm really very happy, certified hypnotherapist, about which I'm really very happy because this is how I can impact mostly a human life in a better way.
Yeah, it's nice that you find something which fulfills you, what is your nature, what you can implement yourself, and not just work day in, day out, something you don't really like. And it's our nature is to give, to help people, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I like both my careers, both jobs, but it is not what I really want to do from now on. From this age, my age, now on the rest of the life, I want really to be involved only in helping people.
And that's the questions. Whatever we do, can we do it really till the end of our life?
Yes, exactly.
If we say yes, then okay, go for it.
Yeah, definitely. Very good point.
Peter, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, it was exactly this one, because one of the things that we learned in the school was to find a career that we can actually dedicate our whole lives, and even in the end of the life, we can still keep doing what we're doing and to feel fulfilled. Yes.
Still on the
So it
deathbed.
was extremely interesting, yes, to find Stella in the school, because even when I asked at the beginning before enrolling, are there any other Bulgarians in the group? They said usually yes, we do have Bulgarians, but at the moment she didn't. The coach who enrolled me didn't say for sure, but yes, it was good 5-6 months when we met each other, and yes, we started communicating right off the bat. It was really, really great collaborative effect because of this.
And do you also have some work experience together, or more friendship based?
Yes, we have had practice sessions together, and it's really, really good. Although we're Bulgarians, we still make our practice sessions in English, which is very cool. Yes, because the
it's good for practice.
terminology is very smooth when we do it in English, and the effect, because we are very used to communicating in English, and we find this more convenient for us to communicate this way. But yes, other than that, we still communicate in Bulgarian almost every day, exchange information and help. Yeah, very good, very good hypnotherapy couple, are we?
Yeah, that's true.
My friend Gopi, you also know him from the program, and we both German, and we did the session also in English because we learned it in English, and somehow we both speak English all the time. My wife is from South Africa, and he lives in New Zealand, and so we decided to do everything in English, and still we communicate every day almost, and we're still speaking English.
I'm happy we can talk also here in English.
Yeah. Also, I think many people who come to you are English speaking, and
True.
there are many myths about hypnosis, and I also had some misconceptions, and I saw a few stage programs when I was young, and I never wanted someone to mess with my mind, but I was very open the last few years, but I never met a hypnotherapist. Just recently, my friend, we're in the same community, and then I offered him a session in breathwork, and he said, okay, let's do a hypnotherapy. And it was really interesting, and I felt I was fully in control, but also I was in a deeper state, in a deeper brainwave state, I would say. Maybe you can explain and share, like, dissolve the misconceptions about hypnotherapy.
Yes. So one of the for example, which myth would you propose that I can resolve it for you?
Yeah, that you mess with with my mind. I'm not in control. You program me in a way I don't want. Like people make weird things, stand up on one leg and point out on your nose, you know. And I think some
So
people are very susceptible to do that, maybe, yeah. But in general, I think it's not like that, no?
yeah, so yeah, different people have different levels of sensitivity. Some people are more sensitive and accept hypnosis very easily, because they're more intuitive. Others are more logical, and for them it takes more time to accept the hypnosis commands and the suggestions afterwards. But yeah, there's a lot of difference between actually performance hypnosis, which is the stage one, and the one that we actually practice. It's neurological. It's based on the neurological science, and it's a healing experience. It has nothing to do with performance. And the thing is that hypnosis is very natural state. You can actually hypnotize yourself on your own with the techniques that you learn to hypnotize other people. You can also do it on yourself. And the thing is that you're always actually in control, because you come naturally in hypnosis when you're, for example, daydreaming, or you're reading a very good book, or having a very interesting and deep conversation with a friend, or you're just watching TV or having a nap on the back of the car or the back seat. So yeah, the thing is that you're always in control, because you can always come out of this state of hypnosis. If I just leave the room and leave you hypnotized, you will go in a light nap, or you will just open your eyes naturally in a few minutes, and yeah, return fully in control. So yeah, this is
And
one of the misconceptions that usually comes around. But when we start actually working and healing from within, it's completely different.
and is everyone like can you do hypnosis with everyone? Or are there some exceptions, like some people who can't do it?
Yes, you can do it practically on everyone, but you have to be careful, because there are some health conditions which are preferably not to do hypnosis upon. For example, if the client has a psychosis or a depression or schizophrenia, and some other severe conditions which can actually create some danger. But yeah, that's what we always ask the clients before we do any sessions, and if they're taking specific medications, and yeah, to make sure that the person is really susceptible and in a good condition, so that we don't ruin something or create an issue instead of helping him. So yes.
Mm.
I would also like to add that actually hypnosis could be done to a person in a depressive state, but there should be necessarily a pre-talk with the psychotherapist of the person so that we align the practice. I personally don't deal with such cases. I aim at other part of the world who has different issues, but still it is possible, but there should be a collaboration with the psychologist, psychiatrist, so it's even more deeper. They need
Mm.
another type of help.
Yes, for different
When
specialists. Yes.
Yeah.
when I did my hypnotherapy with Gopi, and then I looked up, and then I closed my eyes, and then he said, "Now, with each sound or something, it will be more and more difficult. The more you try to open your eyes, the more it will be difficult." And actually, I couldn't open my eyes anymore.
Yeah.
If I would really wanted to, probably I would have opened it, yeah. But somehow, the more I tried, I felt like the eyelids became heavier and heavier.
Droopy, drowsy, yes, they do.
Yes, yes.
Trippy drowsy, he said, yeah.
Yes, but you know why you actually cannot open them truly unless you hold them with your fingers and lift them up. But this is because your brain accepts commands easily, and it's not only your brain. Each brain is like this. The thing is that when you go to a hypnotherapist, you have to trust them, and before everything else, you have to have the willingness to transform whatever problem you have, and you went for that problem. Because if you say like, okay, I can transform it, but it could wait for another month or two, and you go with this attitude, then your results are not going to be the ones that you expect. So we're there. All hypnotherapists are there. We can help you, but you have to be willing to be helped. That's the thing with hypnotherapy.
So you're not just a magical healer, take it away.
No,
It's still the
no.
patient who has to do the commitment and
So
Yeah,
sincerity and the work.
yeah,
the client
exactly. You have to be
should
committed.
be,
Yeah, please.
the 50% of the client of the work is done by the clients, especially to have the mindset for transformation, and especially not just while being committed to listening the recording afterwards, but
Mhm.
still during the actual hypnotherapy session, the client is being engaged to share his thoughts, feelings, and experiences. So he is actively participating in the healing process. We're just facilitating him, and yeah, he's basically taught how to learn how to heal himself from within.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I like that. I was doing pranic healing many years ago, but I realized people waiting for some kind of special healer to solve their problems, and now I try to using pranayama, the breath, to show them practices and techniques to help themselves to heal themselves, because I realized we don't want to do anything. We're waiting for someone. We rather pay, and someone else comes and treats us. Yeah. But it's nice when people really want to do the transformation themselves, then it really works. Yeah. So it's
It's
the same with hypnotherapy. It's not just some magical treatment.
exactly.
Yeah.
And actually, I could add one thing only. When I was studying Reiki, our master said that we should experience it ourselves. We shouldn't trust him. We should experience it ourselves. And I would suggest that everybody who has a problem that doesn't go with meditation, doesn't go with Reiki, doesn't go with anything else, you should try hypnotherapy. Don't try it, just do it. And choose correctly the practitioner so that you get the best of the experience in relatively short time.
And do you also use Reiki for your hypnotherapy somehow? Is it somehow
Um,
related or?
I haven't done it so far, but what I do is to get in Reiki state, ready to let the energy flow through me, and then I can do the hypnotherapy session. Now, because most of the time I'm either hypnotized by myself, or I'm in a Reiki state, or I practice Tonglen or anything else. Maybe that's why I get really quickly into my own state, because I've noticed that when I myself am in a lower mental wave state, yeah, like for example, not in Delta, because it would be difficult for me to talk in this state correctly, right? But still, when it is lower, then it's like my inner healer is speaking to the client who requires a session, and the process flows really quickly and very nicely. And the person afterwards is, I wouldn't forget the face, talking about this, of one of my last clients. He had this huge smile from ear to ear, and he was a gentleman who had pain in the neck, and he thought it was provoked by the neck, but actually had a migraine as well. So that's why he was with pain most of the time, every single day, and sometimes in the nighttime. So when we finished the first session, he had this huge smile, and this was the most rewarding moment in my life, I think, so far. Professionally speaking, of course. He couldn't stop talking because his wife was there too, so he couldn't stop talking to her how great he felt.
But it was a hypnotherapy session or Reiki session?
It was combined. I went
Combined.
prepared to channel the energy, but I went to do generally a hypnotherapy session, but I didn't tell him I was channeling the healing energy as well.
And can you heal neck pain and migraines with hypnotherapy?
Well, yes, you could.
Yes, you can.
Again, this is not my scope of practice. It's just a neighbor, so he was in pain, and I went to help as much as I could. Yes, you can. You can, as long as every pain, physical pain in the human body, I'm sure you know yourself that it is related to an emotional state that has remained in us, and we couldn't deal with it. As soon as you find this emotional state, or maybe an event that you had in your life, or some kind of memory that was not so good. Afterwards, when you find it, you can transform it. You can heal it, you can transform it into something positive. And this is how also the physical pain is going.
Wow.
Yes, because a lot of the emotions and memories, they're they're locked in our body. These blockages find certain points in of energy where the energy just cannot be transformed properly, and the part of the body starts hurting. For example, in migraine, or when your chest is in pain. And through hypnotherapy, you're able to connect with these specific emotions, these memories, usually from childhood. We take our clients to explore 3 scenes back in the childhood to see different different feelings, different beliefs about themselves, and needs that they needed to meet back then, but these needs were not fulfilled. And when we find the root cause of the therapy of the problem, which is in the childhood, usually these pains, these blockages are being released, and then the person feels so good and completely transformed. The body becomes lighter, more relaxed and healed from within, because we have actually changed the mindset, we have changed the program from within. And this is one of the most crucial things about hypnotherapy, is that we're changing the actual mindset of the client, their beliefs, their emotions. We're creating new patterns in the subconscious mind. We're basically rewiring the brain, and this is how the healing transformation begins, because we're able to see where the problem is and to heal the part from within. And then when we have rewired the subconscious mind, the beliefs, then the pain just is healed naturally, because there's nothing from the old beliefs or conditions to connect to it. So this is how these healing conditions start happening, and there's absolutely no trace of these, or just they're really reduced, these pains, these bad health conditions, because the person now is on a whole new level. And this is one of the keys in our practice.
Makes sense, yeah. Does some people sometimes fall back into old patterns or habits, that because you listen to a tape afterwards, and maybe after 6 months, is it possible that it comes back somehow, this old patterns and habits?
Normally it shouldn't.
Yeah,
Huh?
normally it shouldn't.
Shouldn't.
Yeah.
From my experience, which I've had, usually if a person still comes back to an old habit or belief, at least the mindset has been changed. I mean, yeah, I've worked with a woman who really strongly wanted to quit alcohol and cigarettes. And after the therapy, she had actually reduced them a lot. And after a few months, she said that, yes, I still do drink, smoke, or yes, I do drink or smoke sometimes, a lot less. But now I have the mindset that these substances are really bad for my health, and I'm going to do everything possible to heal myself, so that there's absolutely no chance for them to return. And yes, now when the mindset is changed, the person is in a completely new state, so that he can do everything possible to transform himself, and not to be trapped by these old patterns and habits, because they're just gone. There is no trace of them in the subconscious mind, and that's very important.
I would also like to add that they shouldn't come back normally, because a person should have at least 3 sessions, and during these 3 sessions we can find out if there is something else that is left to be attended. Then maybe a 4th session is going to be needed. Now here is maybe the time to explain that hypnotherapy is considered the quickest problem solving therapy compared to all other talk therapies. Why? Because we work directly with the subconscious mind. We go to the root cause and we transform this problem into another experience, another ideas. And this is how the mind is rewired. But still, if somebody tells me that they are going to change something in me in one session, I would doubt that, because one session is not enough, even with the 21 days of tape or record that you have to listen afterwards. And that's why we always say at least 3 sessions, and we'll see how it goes. And from that on,
Yes.
I don't think they need anybody needs more than 6 or 7. Depends on the case, of course. But what I'm dealing with, 3 sessions are really enough.
Okay. Yeah, I did only 1 session and then the tape, and I stopped after 2 weeks because my son was born.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It's like 7 months ago, but yeah. And then somehow I was too busy, and I listened to it. Sometimes I was super tired, and I was falling asleep all the time. And then somehow I stopped right before the 21 days. But it still had a benefit. I can still till now, yeah. I'm more in control. I know my weakness, and I can still say, "Hey, no, I don't want to indulge in eating bad." But still, sometimes I slip. Yeah. So maybe I should go back and finish my
Listen
program.
to it. Not only, yeah, you can take it for another 21 days if you want to, but I wanted to tell you that even if you fall asleep while you listen it still works. Even if you don't remember it, because the part of the mind that really, yes, exactly, it retains every information and retains it indeed. And then you said something and I forgot what I wanted to tell you about it. But okay,
Yeah.
let's leave it here. Yeah, it's still working despite of the fact that you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember now. Aren't you more mindful when you want to grab the food that you're not meant to have? That
Yes.
actually it's not that you're hungry, but because there is another reason in you that wanted to eat. So this is what happens after hypnotherapy as well. It doesn't matter what the problem is. You're more mindful that you could fall in the same pattern, and now you know the way to avoid it.
Yeah, I have many times that I say no, and it's like a voice inside of me says, "No, you don't need this. You don't want this.
Exactly.
You already changed." But somehow my body or something, some memory is still there,
Yeah.
which somehow finds a loophole. Yeah, but I would say 70-80% I can say no. Like I detect it and no, but somehow sometimes I slip.
Okay, but you had only 1 session.
Yeah.
You eliminated 70 by 80% of the problem you had. So this is a huge hit, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Great
I also
progress.
recommend everyone to do it now because I got so much benefit from it, even though I didn't finish it.
Yeah.
I'm a bad student. No, actually, I'm a good student usually, but
Yeah.
was more friendship offer and that was a great experience.
Exactly. But you got the benefit from only 1 session. This is what I go to. While with other type of therapists, it could go for years.
Peter, you wanted to say something?
Yeah.
And imagine what will happen if you commit to it and, for example, do 2 or 3 sessions and commit yourself fully. I'm sure that the problem will be solved completely, and there will be absolutely nothing from what you're sharing, and you will be completely transformed.
I have to say, I was a little bit resistant. Other people, they think it's some stage performance. For me, it was more the resistance was more like it's kind of cheating because it's so quick fix. And I tried over the years. I had so many healers in my life, and I myself helping people to overcoming addictions. I was addicted to drugs many years myself, and I did so much progress and inner healing. Yeah, and then I thought, like, if I go to a hypnotherapy therapist now, and he just takes it away, it feels like it's not my own endeavor. Like I didn't really heal from it, but now I understand actually. No, you still do the endeavor. You still go to the past experiences, right? And then you replace them with positive.
Yes, I wanted to add here that there are different type of hypnotherapy. It still could be hypnotherapy, but it could be different, because the general one, which is the most popular one, and maybe that's another reason for which the people don't trust so much in hypnotherapy is that they start with inducing you in the state, and then they give you the appropriate suggestions according to your problem, but they never investigate the root cause of your problem or the reasons for your problem. And this is from where the not
The
so good
misconception.
effect comes afterwards. Yes, because if you really want to work on a certain problem, then you have to find it, identify it, and change it, transform it, and then afterwards you can give appropriate suggestions for the individual, right? And
Yes.
if you've noticed, sorry, please.
Yeah, I wanted to add here that it's the same like if you have, to give an example, if you have all your life you have eaten unhealthy food and you want to start living healthily, you can't start living healthily before you have actually cleaned your body, you have detoxified, and then actually start having the healthy stuff. It's the same here. You clean yourself from the old beliefs, the root cause of the problem, and then it's when you create actually the new program, the new suggestions that will transform it. This is the difference between different parts of different types of hypnotherapy, where they just add suggestions without extracting the root cause. So yeah, that's funny. But go on still.
But it still works, or is it then more artificially, or is it
Which one? You
what?
mean the one with induction and suggestion only?
Both? Yeah, both ways. But like yours feels more real to me in my own journey because I'm working with similar concepts. But the other process with just suggestions, does it still work, or?
From what I have experienced, then it works. For example, if you have a sleeping problem, you can't sleep in the nighttime, and you put such a recording, it would work for this night. But you have to listen over and over again so that you fall asleep each night, because you don't eliminate the reason for you to be not able to fall asleep. So you have to reoccur to it.
It's more the pharma industry and the alternative medicine kind of
exactly.
comparison.
Exactly.
Just treating the outside, taking some pills, and have some effect. Yeah,
but this is also good, because
Mhm.
I understand that there are different people in the world with different possibilities to pay for their treatment. Some have got higher budgets, some have got almost zero budget. And those recordings, they are helping exactly these type of people with a lower possibility to pay for treatment to get what they need at the moment. And since it is not so expensive, they can reuse it many times as they need. But if you want definite elimination of your problem, then you should go on one-on-one session.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you explain the process a little bit? You mentioned brainwaves, and I realized when I look up, then I enter into alpha, right? But then doing the hypnotherapy, is it theta or delta? Or maybe you can explain a little bit how you
I'll just
work.
explain a little bit, because well, the idea is that you don't need to go to the lowest, to the deepest level, which is delta, right? Because most of the processes could be reversed in light hypnosis. And just because you do meditation, right? So you understand, if I tell you when you're in meditative state, this same state is good also to transform the person's mind, or subconscious in this case. So it depends on how deeply enrooted the problem is, where we are looking for it, what type of transformation we want to produce in the person. Then we can go deeper or not so deep, or much basic level. And talking about the brainwaves, maybe it was in 2012 when I discovered them and their healing power for myself. The thing is, with them, you have to stick with them all the time that you have a certain problem to solve. But combined with hypnotherapy, this is the hint. This is something else that I did also recently for myself. It was the most amazing experience I've ever had. And yes, I'm a hypnotherapist, but just like any other person, I also have some limiting beliefs still left, and I'm working on myself. The thing in therapy altogether, it doesn't matter which therapy, is to walk your talk. And I definitely, and Peter as well, we practice what we preach.
Yes.
So it's very important to believe in what you're doing for the greater benefit of everybody else, but first to do it on yourself just to prove everybody else that it works.
Yeah, it's the same in my life. Like, I'm a breathwork coach and help people to be more in flow. And at one point, I felt not so authentically because I didn't had so much practice and realization. So I stopped giving it, teaching it, and
Yeah.
went first deep on myself. And just recently, I started a vlog on my YouTube channel called Walk the Talk. But
Yeah.
I walk outside in nature. I really walk, but I talk about my own personal reflections and realizations about spirituality, and yeah. So it's
That's
a
great.
confirmation for me to continue.
Yes, you should definitely.
Yeah, it's extremely important to be the example for the others for what you're doing, not just to preach it or to help, but to practice it on yourself and your clients, the people, to see the results reflected on you and to say something like, "Wow, he's really doing what he's doing because see how she looks because he really knows what he's doing and really." He's living the life that he's trying to help people live as well. So
Mm.
this is very important. And yeah, actually, throughout the process of hypnotherapy, we usually put our clients when we induce them in hypnotherapy. It's usually when they start looking up, and when we induce them, it's very strong alpha brain waves, and then some people may go deeper in theta waves or go in alpha, but that's enough just to receive that sensation and to open their subconscious mind so that we can start exploring the childhood and to reframe the actual patterns in their brain, in their subconscious mind. And it's quite similar to meditation, that you observe your inner actions, but here you're not just observing, you're taking inner action when you're facilitated by a hypnotherapist. And that's a great way to change. It's just like, it's a lot like programming. When you're typing the code on the console, you're just deleting little by little the old codes and installing new ones, and these new ones, or the suggestions, you're basically reprogramming the people's mindset towards success and yeah, everything it could be. That's why I've focused my work to be mainly on limiting beliefs, because this is where everything starts. Everything starts from a single thought, then the wheel goes to emotion, then to action, and then to behavior, and then to a lifestyle, and then goes back to a thought. And when you're able to identify which thoughts or beliefs are holding the client back, for example, I'm not good enough to start my own therapy business or something like that, or I'm not a good father. These beliefs may be so deeply implemented in our subconscious mind that they actually create powerful emotions and different types of toxic behaviors which prevent us to live the way that we want. And so when we identify these beliefs and when we manage to heal them from within and install new ones, for example, I'm enough, I'm good father, I'm happy for who I am, because during a single hypnotherapy session, when we start when we start affirming the client new beliefs, we are creating usually exactly the opposite beliefs of what the person has said, but we keep only the positive way of it. For example, I don't overeat, or I don't hate people. We say, for example, I eat just enough food as I need, or I love my loved ones, I love my relatives. And because the universe, if you have heard this, the universe does not accept the word no. It just keeps the word that you're saying. So instead of saying, for example, independent, you can say free. It's different, because dependent and independent contain the words dependency, and it's not what we need. We need freedom. And
So the no is also independent, actually. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
True.
Yeah.
yeah, actually one astrologist advised me, just off topic, a sentence, because I said I want to be independent, and she said, no, you want to be free. And it's the same here. We have to be very
Mm,
very careful what suggestions we bring to our clients, because it may depend what level of transformation we will bring them to. And one of the most delightful parts of the therapy process for me is after the actual session, when I start creating the script, because before recording it, I start writing on my laptop a big file with the suggestions especially designed for the client. And it's really a creative process to see which suggestions will best lead the client to the new level, the new reality that he wants to be living in. So when working with the beliefs, you're really working with the root of the problem, because when you change the belief, when you change the actual mindset of the person, just everything else follows. Then, because when you start a positive, very strong belief that he wants to be living his life, then he is experiencing totally different emotions, different feelings, and then this may provoke, and eventually it will provoke, different ways of living and new behaviors. So that's why I decided to be using it for limiting beliefs, that because this is the root of basically any issue in the life of the client.
well, yeah, it's good that you have your niche. Yeah, because you can't help everyone. It's
Mm-hmm.
good to
Yes.
have focused. The topic of this podcast is also go beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very much on place. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, on point.
Yeah. Well, on the other side, I have decided that there are many services directed to the general public, but on the others, there is nobody to help the business owners, the ones that are freelancers. And I believe, at least in Spain, this is the case, that these are the people who suffer the most. Finding the right product, finding the right client, the taxes that they have to pay. So for that reason, I decided that I'm going to concentrate myself in helping them with their limiting beliefs.
Mm.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter whether the gender, as long as you're a business owner, then you can come to me. And lately, I've also seen that the musicians are suffering quite a lot from lack of creativity, because again, they're concentrated on other areas that had nothing to do with music. Yeah.
Mm.
And so I decided to accept them as well, because creativity is a beautiful subject. And I think it's very important, no matter what type of work you do in your life. It's important for your private life, for your work, for your business.
Mm. Beautiful.
Yeah. It's because the people who are freelancers, who are just starting off their therapeutic business, it may be just anyone in the wellness sector. You could be a yoga teacher, you could be, you know, um, a shaman, or a music healer, music therapist, just anyone in this astrologists, business coaches, just anyone in this sector. Of course, they have their own limitations,
Yes.
which they need someone to help them resolve, and so that they can move forward in their life, in their personal life, in their professional life, or in their relationships. And it's very important to help also these people, and we're basically ideal clients for each other, because we're basically in the same industry, and it's
Yeah.
a lot a lot easier to work with self-aware people, because they are helping so much in the therapy process. There's when a person is regularly working with himself, spiritually have been awakened, is reading or listening to stuff, examining himself or herself, self-reflecting. These activities really help the person to facilitate the process on his own. And when we work together, the therapy process a lot easier and smooth because the person knows himself very well, knows how to deal with a lot of his stuff. But when we just concentrate on the beliefs, on these patterns, then we're sure that the person will continue on
Do
his
the
own
rest.
very well.
Yeah.
Yes,
We'll do the rest.
because we just transformed the thing, and now he's free to just continue. And sometimes people just need this little push on the right buttons, just need these little touches on the system, and it's so delightful to be working with
Self-aware
open-minded and
people.
yes, self-aware
Mm.
people. That's why we concentrate on these types of clients.
And can you also share some light? How do you work? Like, what is the process that people who listen now can maybe a little bit understand? Of course, you can't show it now, but maybe you can a little bit
Yeah.
guide us
So how
through what
about
will, what.
I say about some of the recipes, and you can add then about ego therapy if you'd
Ego
like.
states? Yes. Yeah,
Ego
sure.
state. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah. Actually, when a person wants to be working with me, after we have had a short 30-40 minute discovery call, and we have addressed some concerns about hypnotherapy, then I take him to a 60 to 90 minute intake consultation where we examine the actual presenting problem, and we go in depth to see what the symptoms, the triggers, and the habits of the client are. And of course, one of the coolest parts of the intake form is to see how he actually wants to be living his life without this problem to share. We're asking a lot of active questions to see what the client can actually not just answer from the logical part of the of himself, the conscious mind, but to try to make the client sense and just immerse in the reality that he wants to be living in, free from the actual issue.
Mm.
And it's very important because usually in the recording after the actual hypnotherapy session, we include that positive mindset of the client, this positive image, this picture of the new life. And after the consultation, we take the client to usually 2.5 hours of hypnotherapy session when we induce the client, you know, to use some suggestibility tests, some deepeners to make sure that he really goes into that in this beautiful relaxed state of relaxation.
Mm.
Then we explore the 3 scenes where we examine some beliefs, some needs, and of course feelings from these childhood scenes. Then of course the idea is to find the part of the subconscious mind that needs to be transformed, and this is done in parts therapy, in which we actually help the clients to see what's the actual role of the part, because every part in our subconscious mind um, has some intention to do with us. For example, one part of us may want to protect us, but to create some self-sabotage so that we don't embarrass ourselves in front of people. That's
Mm.
what one part might be doing, for example. And then we release the negative role of the part and help the client create a new role of the part which can actually benefits the client from now on. And based on this new role of the part, which is now implemented into the subconscious mind, the brain is rewired. Then we start creating the new base and start installing the new suggestions in the end of the therapy. And these suggestions are usually extracted throughout the whole process, the hypnotherapy session and the intake form that I shared in the beginning. And yes, after the session, usually the person feels really transformed. Some of the pain is gone. They feel lighter. They may feel sleepy. They may need to go to rest because
Mm.
their brain is rewired. The subconscious mind is cleaned and transformed. And yeah, then he is free to go and begins our part to make the recording and to share, and then just to measure the progress, how that our client is doing throughout the next 21 days and beyond.
Mm.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Stella, you also mentioned something. You used Tong Lin or something, some breathing
Tonglen. Yes.
connected doing the hypnotherapy, or how does it work?
Yes. Because if I use the same method that Peter uses
Yeah.
for my therapy session, and if I see that the person or the client isn't even wanting to release, because sometimes you tell the part that is causing the problem that it should leave, or this old habit should leave the person like water going to the drain, right?
Mhm.
And they should never return. But sometimes even you tried and you've checked afterwards if this part has gone, it isn't gone. So that's the thing that I have implemented in my therapy, that I do Tonglen. And Tonglen is a Tibetan breathing practice where, let's say, there are two of us, like you and I, and you breathe in, and while breathing out, you're expelling everything that stops you, that blocks you, that makes you sick, ill. And I inhale that. This is only it's done in a conscious level, not really in a physical.
The mind,
So I take it in, and while it is in my lungs, I transform all this black breath into white breath, but really clean. And this is done really with a lot of meditation. So anyway, when I exhale it, you breathe in this white type of breath, and then you yours is getting all together in your lungs. For example, if you have there a problem, it is getting gray, less gray, almost white, and it might take half an hour. But with combining it with the limiting belief itself that doesn't let you do whatever you want to do, then we can just imagine that I take it all, I transform it all from black, absolutely black, to absolutely white in a few short breaths. And then usually the result was that the client has said that it's gone. And
Wow.
it's gone. How do we know it's gone? Because the client feels happier, even during the hypnosis, or lighter, or whatever they say. Sometimes it's connected with colors. Everybody has got their different perception about what feels best about them. And I was going to tell you just a little bit about the ego states hypnotherapy.
Just one question: Do you see doing the breathing? Do you see the colors changing?
I
Or
see them. But I see
Mhm.
them again in my
Yeah.
imagination. Physically, you don't see anything. Everything is the same. But the feeling afterwards, the effect is
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It is definitely what person's mind can do. There is no computer that can do.
Yeah.
My
True.
opinion. Yeah. And
The
about
ego.
the ego states therapy. So it's a therapy that exists from the past century, and what partially it is similar to the parts therapy that Peter just explained, but there is a difference, and the difference which I noticed is that a particular problem, for example, when I wanted to start doing business, like I don't know, 10 years ago, I didn't even know what I wanted. So back then, if I had this type of therapy and technique to apply upon myself, I would have said that I wanted business ego state of mind, because it derives from there that each person has at least 150 different ego states, and each of them is executive at a certain point. For example, now you have to fill in a form, so the ego state of yours that knows how to fill forms, because it's filled thousands of forms along their life, it comes out and it fills out the form. But the next moment, your wife shouts at you and says, honey, please bring me something from the supermarket. So the couple side, the couple ego state of you goes to the supermarket and brings it. Okay. So this is the whole idea of the ego states. And if I had this business ego theory in me, and at that time I would have asked my ego state to do the best to discover what exactly, what type of business exactly I would like to do and what would suit best the rest of my ego states. But it's not only this shallow, this type of therapy, it also goes much deeper because in the case of people who have passed through huge trauma, be it physical, psychical, whatever it was, these ego states, they're like in a bunker, so they're not easy to access. And many of them also keep them away from the rest. They will never be executive, of course. But also among the normally functioning ego states, there is one that always wants to be executive, and this is the one that wants to protect you from whatever it is. There might be no real danger, but this might be executive at the time that you have to take a crucial decision for your future. And then this protective ego state comes out and says, no, I'm not doing this because it's new and I'm worried about it. It's not going to function. I'm out. Okay. So when you have a complex problem with wanting to do something, but not knowing exactly which ego state you have to refer, and I don't have Peter to do a session for me, what I'll do is hypnotize myself and tell my highest wisdom self to find the egos that are stopping me from doing whatever I want to do, to summon the rest of the healthy functioning egos in order to help these ego states heal, and then to put new roles to the ones that don't want to do the role themselves because it doesn't fit them, it doesn't suit them, and to put the new, for example, businesswoman Stela role to somebody else who really wants to do it. And if there are too many things to do, I can assign other ego states, or my highest self could assign other ego states to help the businesswoman Stela to create the project that she wants to create. And actually, I'll tell you a secret, but it was after such an ego state hypnosis that I found out that it's a good idea to combine the Tonglen with the hypnotherapy.
Wow, it sounds everything so scientific, mystical, but also understandable, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's practical.
Practical, yeah, this was the word. And
It's
how do you use it for yourself? Because you don't have always someone who does a hypnotherapy with you. So can you also induce yourself in hypnosis and reprogram yourself? Is it possible?
The easiest way. You wake up in the morning, you roll your eyes up, you follow the rest of the script, right, to get into hypnosis, and afterwards you just give yourself the suggestions that you need. And if you don't need anything in particular, then just suggest for yourself to have an amazing day, the most brilliant day. Well, right now I'm not going out much from home because I was operated and I still have got some physiotherapy work to do with myself. But before, I've noticed that in such occasions, working with groups especially, people were always smiling at me. They were very happy, which is not a must at 8 o'clock in the morning when you're on a holiday. Right. So I really had much more fun with them than in the previous occasions. Also, what else? Oh, this is a very quick one. If I need some sort of information, but I don't know even where to look for it, and I just hypnotize myself and I tell myself that this information is going to come to me by the most unexpected way, and I'm going to be able to recognize the source and where to get it from further on. So yeah, this happens also very quickly. Sometimes book comes, podcasts come, or I can just open the phone and I'll see a video coming over there and say, okay, this is what I was looking for. Let me see more of this. Or meeting a person, even this. Yeah.
Is it because I'm also doing kind of my own hypnotherapy, I guess. I'm following Joe Dispenza, and I'm also implementing this in my work about mindset, abundance, to go into a place of higher consciousness where your mind is completely still, entering fully the present moment, and then you connect with your highest self in a way like you feel the outcome of something you want to achieve in the now, and not just think about it, but you also feel it.
Okay, this is more like law of attraction, isn't it? Because it sounds like that.
Yeah, kind of. But is it also a hypnotic state I'm going? Because I'm not expecting things changing in the outside, but I know when I go into the states, then all of a sudden I think differently. I have different desires. I talk differently. I attract different people in my life. Yeah.
It
But
might be.
is it
It might
also
be,
a
but
hypnotic?
I don't know because I've never experienced it. But
Uh,
as long as it brings results to you, then keep on doing it.
but is it hypnosis, self-hypnosis, or is it just mindset?
I don't know what they tell you to do in the beginning. When you start getting into the state, what do you do to get
I
into
mean,
the state?
I have many ways to go there because I'm practicing since many years. Nowadays, I do something called the Flow Beyond method. It's
Okay.
my own practice, also from neuroscience, where I look on some objects with my eyes. Yeah, completely deeply focused. Then I expand my vision to the sides, keep the focus, and I add hearing. I hear all the sounds around. I listen to my heartbeat, to my breath. Then I focus on my breath, and then I feel my whole body, and then all together, and then I enter in a kind of ecstatic state where I'm almost paralyzed with eyes open, and then I close my eyes, and I'm completely in a different world. Yeah, and then it's easy for me to feel happiness or connect with my desires, or
I
it's like
understand. Yeah.
from alpha to delta, from alpha to theta state, kind of.
Yes. Well, it sounds like hypnosis. It
Yeah.
sounds like this because previously, in the past, also decade especially, other people were hypnotizing themselves or their patients by progressive relaxation. But it
Mm,
took way longer time. It took half an hour or even 40 minutes. And what nowadays we like so much with Peter that you can do it just in a snap of a finger,
mm.
almost, right? Yeah, very quickly.
I tried a few things. I mean, there are many. I saw many meditations he teaches, but I just follow my own path. I do Kundalini yoga many years ago and chanting. So I have many practices to go into the states, and now I'm just looking for other people talking about it, and I try out what suits me, like looking up, you know,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
closing the eyes. It's very powerful to just enter into alpha, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried also to imagine myself, and I realized it's not so much for me about I want something. It's more about I have a desire, means I'm lacking something in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need something in the outside in order to be complete.
Yeah.
And for example, buying a new car, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then for months, I think about the car. I want to buy it, and I'm not satisfied till I get the car. But I could also go into this feeling like, how would it feel if I would have this car now? Yeah, not
Yeah.
just thinking about it, thinking it, feeling it,
Yeah.
and then you can kind of letting go because your mind already experienced the outcome. Yeah, this is what I'm trying. Not so much to get something, but whenever I see a desire, it gives me an indication of I'm not complete.
Yeah.
Something is missing, and then I connect this desire to something higher, and then kind of I transform in the process. Yeah,
Absolutely true. Yeah.
I will link all your this in the description. I will link all your links that people can connect with you. And Stella, you have your Facebook, or how do you get in contact with you?
I just formed a Facebook group
Yes,
because
I joined your group.
thank you for that. I have to tell you that I've been waiting for 6 months for a website to be done by a
Hmm.
certain program. And just today I asked them whether it is ready so that I can use my email. But okay, they need until the end of the week. And they told me this 2 months ago. So I'm a little bit fed up already. But anyway, it will be ready. So you can use for now my Facebook group. And what I can promise you there is to get different information that you might want to use for yourself, or it is going to be just inspirational one. I'm working on a test that you can do on your own and see what type of
Hmm.
block you might have as well. If you want to do it yourself, then it's up to you. It's going to be ready by the end of this week, and it's going to be there. But just it's a new community, right?
Yeah.
I've never been so much into social media, but now I see that this is how I can also reach out to
Mm.
the guests, the people who might want to benefit from what I have to offer. And apart from that, I would like to wish everybody who has listened today a beautiful, amazing day, night, evening, whatever time you listen to us. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you to you, Advaita, for inviting us with Peter. It's been an amazing experience being guests in your podcast.
Thank you so much. I think in 1-2 weeks I will upload the session, and then maybe your website is done also, hopefully.
Yeah, hope so too. Yeah.
Yeah, I know myself. It's sometimes complicated to, yeah.
Yeah. And yes, if there are any news with my referring to my email address, the professional one, I'm going to send it to you too. Yeah.
And thank you so much for taking time. I really appreciated your insights in hypnotherapy, and hope we could solve some misconceptions and wrong beliefs about it.
Yeah.
Also, I hope in future we can do maybe a separate session with each of you, and then we can also try to go even deeper.
Sure, whenever you wish.
Stella, Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you too. It was a
Let's
pleasure.
flow beyond together in a new reality. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.